sijawahi kulishwa na mtu yoyote dunia hii. Sasa vipi ule mpango wako wewe na bi mkubwa umefikia wapi?
Huoni haki kunisimamia namna hiyo ulio?
Maisha yetu hayakuhusu wewe hapa, ni uondoke.
Wajua sipendi hii tabia yako kutoka na mtoto wangu bila kuniambia wewe.
Zari, ulikuwa umelala bana?
Hii ni haki yangu and I always get what I want.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Lunchtime News. We have a comprehensive bulletin lined up this afternoon. My name is Jackie Wembiro. Sign language interpreter is Lensa Odingo. And now to kick us off, we shall be crossing over to Kiambu County, where a somber mood has engulfed Magena village in Lari constituency, Kiambu County, after a 54-year-old woman and her 14-year-old daughter succumbed to fire injuries after the house they were living in was gutted down by the fire. Neighbors who answered the victim's call of help said the house was closed from outside and suspect a case of arson.
The smoldering remains of what used to be the house of the 54-year-old and mother of 5. The night fire not only consumed the semi-permanent house, but also snuffed out the life of Esther Njeri and her 14-year-old daughter, who is in Form 1. Neighbors who answered the family's distress call claimed the house was locked from outside. The remains of the two have been moved to the Naivasha Hospital mortuary, awaiting post-mortem. Elsewhere, traders in Gilgil Town, Nakuru County, are counting losses running into millions of shillings after fire gutted down their businesses.
Wafanyikazi wa Gilgil wakati wanakata license na wanawekewa pesa ya gari la kuzima gari la moto. Lakini unapata moto ukiibuka, hatujawahi pata usaidizi.
Nimekuwa nikilipa 1,000 kila mwaka ya fire extinguisher ambayo tulikuwa tunafikiria moto ulipoanza itafika kwa haraka, lakini haikufika. Uokoaji wenye tulipata kwa haraka ulitoka Naivasha, all the way from Naivasha, na tuko festive seasons. Kabla zima moto ifike hapa ilichukua masaa kama 2. Ilipofika ilipata kila kitu chote chetu kimeungua.
During the Sunday midnight incident in GG Estate, goods worth over 3 million shillings were reduced to ashes after the fire broke out in one of the shops.
Na hatujui vile tutaanza kwa sababu wengine wetu tuko chini, wengine tuko na maroni kwa bank, hatujui vile itakavyokuwa. Wazima moto Gilgil in fact wako chini baya sana. Ni kwa nini nimesema wako chini? Ni kwa sababu sioni vile moto inaweza waka hiyo kiasi na tu hatuna mtu wa kuweza kutuokoa.
Gilgil MP Martha Wangari regretted the frequent fires in the market, even as she urged the county government to urgently address the issue of the fire engine, saying traders were losing a lot every year due to fire outbreaks.
Lakini pia wanajeshi wetu, sababu mimi ninawatetea sana, sababu wametusaidia mambo mengine. Lakini kitu kingine kama hii bureaucracy, niliongea na commandant wa NYS jana, saa ingine iharakishwe, sababu moto haungojei ati sijui isainiwe na nani. Moto haungojei, moto ikitokea kwanza tuzime, wacha wakaregularize baadaye, sababu it is not waiting. Kama hii moto ingezimiwa kibanda cha pili pale, haingekuwa imeleta haya madhara yote.
In other news, Kenyan doctors have issued a strike notice over unfulfilled agreements. The doctors, led by Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentist Union Secretary General Dr. Devji Bimji, say that 2017-2021 collective bargaining agreement signed after a protracted strike now seems to have been ignored, along with their grievances, which include salary increments and posting of interns. They were speaking at KMPDU headquarters in Nairobi.
Solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong. This ruling came in October 2021. It has been 1 year without any meaningful results into this. We've written letters and we tried to have actions from the county and national government without any results. And therefore, by the time that you are giving the notice of intent to industrial action, we have exploited all the available avenues. We convene our National Advisory Council by the first week of January, and I'm sure if we don't have a meaningful engagement within the month of January, then we will be proceeding for the industrial action. So, Choboy! Hey! Choboy! Hey!
Residents of Mwingi in Kitui County have decried the rising cases of insecurity in the area. The residents, who now want the government to intervene, faulted the security apparatus of laxity. These even as a section of Kitui leaders led by County Commissioner Erastus Mboy and Mwingi Central Member of Parliament Gideon Muliongi held a peace meeting in Mwingi Central to come up with a lasting solution to the insecurity situation in the area.
The security situation in Kitui County is literally getting out of hand, with area residents now raising a distress call. The residents say they live in fear of attacks after 2 people were killed by camel herders in Mwingi. According to the locals, they are spending cold night in the bushes for fear of attack and therefore cannot undertake any meaningful development due to the insecurity situation.
yangu kwenu ni muendelee kukaa kwa hiyo amani, na mimi najua ile shida iko jua ni ya mwalimu, sio kila mtu mwalimu, si ni kweli? Na ikiwa kuna mwalimu anajulikana, si ni kweli? Kwa hivyo
area Member of Parliament Gideon Mulungi said laxity of security officers has led to sabotage of the exercise to maintain peace amidst camel herders' intrusion.
Sisi tunataka kujua ripoti ikipigwa pale polisi, ngamia imeonekana mahali fulani, watu ya hapa Kadungu wanafaa kwenda kuandikisha statement kwanza, ama polisi anafaa kukimbia kwanza kufukuza ngamia? Polisi kwanza. Na kama ngamia imeonekana hakuna statement ya kuandikisha.
Naona tumetemka zaidi, hatuwezi kuongea tukaelewana saa hii. Labda tutakuwa na kikao kingine. Labda mchague kamati ndogo yenye tunaweza kaa chini nao na tuongee tuelewe.
The team held meetings with locals from Kadungu, Mwanzele, Ukasi and Mwingi Central in a bid to come up with a solution to the recurrent camel invasion for over 40 years now.
Mahali utaona bunduki, mahali utaona ngamia, there is a probability unafaa ramapo. Sasa wewe ukitoka na mshale, waenda kufanya nini?
Na pia nimepata habari ya kwamba hata mkiambia wale ma NPR wenu, mkiwaambia nendeni mkakuguze ngamia tumeona mahali fulani, wanaambiwa na hii wakubwa yao msiende.
And now we cross over to County Hall, where the Committee on Education is meeting with the Chief Executive Officer of the Teachers Service Commission, Nancy Macharia. Let's listen in.
Yeah, we wanted the Commission to tell us how many counties have they categorized as assaults. Because if you take 3 out of 24, are the others categorized as per you as assaults and hard to staff counties?
Yes. Now, the Commission kindly go for that. Answer those questions so that we move on. See the chairperson. Answer those questions.
Thank you. We will start with the CEO, then I come in.
Yes, Chair. I will leave the question asked by Honorable Maugu on who has left on the job to the Chair. The question that will we promote the primary school teachers who will be deployed to junior secondary? Yes, Chair. Those who are in lower job groups, and that if you go to junior secondary, it will have a promotion, they will be promoted. But Chair, there are also teachers who have higher qualifications, but they have also risen higher the ranks. And sometimes they may not want, because some are head teachers, they may not want to go to junior school. So we will map out, especially the ones who are in lower job groups who have been asking for promotion, and we will promote them. We are currently mapping those teachers, and in a short while, we will have the numbers right.
I think on that note, yes. Can you map out, yes, give us a statistical data on the same, give us the shortfalls in the primary and in the junior secondary, give us the staff that you want to promote from primary to the junior secondary, and 2, you mop them out and then you promote those particular staff. And then you give that data to this committee.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes.
Thank you.
Honorable Chair, the mapping out has already started way back actually September. So we are progressing mapping out, looking at even the natural attritions, because there are those who are already qualified, but by the end of this month, they'll retire. So it is on progress, and will definitely give you the data required.
Yes, and Chair, on the question of the so-called outsiders coming to compete with the locals, Chair, like we said last week when we appeared, in ASAL areas, we have deliberately said that locals will be given first priority, because the the locals understand the terrain, the weather conditions, and they will not be asking transfers after a few months after they have been employed. So the position of the commission is that locals in those areas will be given first priority. And we do that administratively.
So you communicated to your directors or the same?
Yes, Chair. Then on the question that ASAL, the policy for 5% being added onto the ASAL. Chair, I want to clarify. The policy position is the 5% is awarded one to Northeastern region and Lamu. The reason is we have historical issues with Northeastern when we removed teachers from Northeastern. So the commission made a policy decision to give 5% additional. It does not apply to other ASAL areas. It only applies to the 3 counties and Lamu. And the other 5% which we give is for persons with disability in compliance with the Persons with Disability Act.
On that note, therefore, your statement on ASAL is not true, because it is actually the northeastern counties of Mandera, Wajir, and Garissa and Lamu on security issues only.
Yes, for the 5%.
So you need to reward and don't say ASAL, because ASAL are made up of about 21? 23 counties. So the fact that you have written ASAL is very misleading.
Chair.
Yes?
There was a presentation by the CEO. There was a document that she presented on behalf of the commission. Under bullet number 212.
Which document is that?
There was a document that was presented by the CEO. When she was here.
Last appearance?
Yes, on that subject matter. It is in our file. That is
can you note
page 9.
Page 9.
Yes.
Yes, page 9.
Page 9 of the document that was last presented by the CEO. That is page 9, bullet number 2.1, 2.122.
22, yes.
The policy, it reads, the policy was made to address the teacher shortage in the 4 counties of Mandera, Wajir, Garissa, Lamu, occasioned by insecurity. See, occasioned by insecurity. There are other areas in this country, apart from the 4, that have faced serious issues to do with security. Baringo County, Tiati, Elgeyo Marakwet, they have faced serious matters to do with the security. That is a discriminatory policy, and you must review it so that you consider other areas faced by insecurity.
Noted, please.
Yes, Chairman.
You have noted that,
yes.
But mostly it is actually for institutional administrators, the 5%. Otherwise, for recruitment, we considered very well. We considered, and I want to apologize, the affirmative action 5% is actually for the ourselves and to staff areas.
So when you say you are now retracting, not the 4 counties?
Not the 4 counties. Yeah, I just it's a slip of the tongue.
I kindly come up because this is a very important session.
Yes.
Be on record there, CEO representative.
Well, those live pictures are the Committee on Education and the Teachers Service Commission deliberating matters regarding teachers' recruitment. We shall be bringing you an updated, the updated details in our subsequent bulletins, that is at 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. For now, we cross over to Delta House, where the Council of Governors is deliberating matters regarding the county revenue allocations, recommendations on revenue sharing between national and county governments for the financial year 23-24. Equalization fund for counties, and our reporter Irene Richuma is on the ground to give us more details. Irene, kindly bring us to speed.
Wambero, good afternoon. We're coming to you live from Delta House in the county of Nairobi. This is where we're expecting the governors to address members of the press in regards to the impeachment row for Meru Governor Mwangaza Kawira after she was impeached by members of County Assembly. It is one that has brought elicited reactions from varied groups. And just this afternoon, we have seen a section of women in Tigania East constituency saying that the Senate should use wisdom, this even as they intend to debate the issue tomorrow. It is one that was brought before the Senate last week, and members of County Assembly said that Mwangaza is unfit to hold office and that should be out of office. This is not the first time that the members of County Assembly in Meru County want Mwangaza out of office, but a couple of weeks ago, they moved a motion in the Assembly, and even before they were able to debate the issue, the High Court in Meru said that they should not conduct the debate in removing Mwangaza as the governor, saying that it was unprocedural for them to impeach the governor from the way they were handling the matter. Wambiru, it is one that of a kind that she is the first governor under the new government to be impeached by members of County Assembly, and this they're citing behavior that is not fit for a leader for them in the county of Meru, and they're saying it's about time that they want to have another governor. But all this, we are waiting to see this because there is a law that has to be followed. When we understand that the Senate will be sitting tomorrow afternoon to debate this issue, and it will determine what they will result to, whether to have the governor out of office, but at the same time, whether they will say that she still remains in office, this as they engage in further deliberations. But before that, Wambiru, we have seen even a section of residents in Meru going to the streets saying that they are siding with the governor, the way she is handling the county matters. But at the same time, we have had certain groups that have been opposing the way she is handling the office. So Wambiru is just a wait-and-see situation. A couple of minutes from now, or let's say 30 minutes, we're waiting for the governors to make their way here to address members of the press. Back to you, Wambiru.
Well, that is our reporter, Irene Muchuma, giving us an update from Delta House. We shall be keeping you updated on the developments at the Delta House. For now, we move on. A section of women in Tigania East constituency now want the Senate to apply wisdom as it debates the fate of Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza following her impeachment by 67 MCAs last week. The women who held special prayers for the embattled Meru governor cited malice behind the impeachment row.
Speaking after the prayers at Tangaza in Tigania East constituency, Meru County, the women termed the impeachment as unfortunate. Aggrieved by the county management role, the women now urge the Senate to investigate the accusations made against Mwangaza and make a wise decision on whether or not the governor should remain in office.
Tulisagua mama Kawira na tukasagua ma MCAs wetu. Kwa hivyo sioni haja ya ma MCAs kutoa Kawira uongozini wake. Kwa hivyo Senate tunawaomba muangalie Kawira, mtuundishie yeye kama gavana wetu wa Meru, atufanyie kazi kwa maana inaonekana atatusaidia.
The group further wants MCAs in the region to source for harmonious way in conducting county businesses for the sake of regional development and unity.
Tungetaka Kawira apewe nafasi, tuone mipangilio yake ile akonayo, sababu style yake ya management inaweza kuwa iko na mwanya ama ni different kuliko aengine.
The Senate will Tuesday hold special sitting in Parliament to consider the impeachment motion of Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza. The sittings follows a request by the Senate Majority Leader Aaron Cheruiyot and Meru County Assembly Speaker to deliberate on the matter. Last week, 67 MCAs in Meru County voted to impeach Mwangaza.
Police in Limuru have launched a manhunt for a known suspect who is accused of stabbing to death a teenager after he was denied entrance to visit a 14-year-old boy who was healing at home after undergoing circumcision. The 16-year-old victim met his death while taking care of his friend who had undergone circumcision.
Family of the deceased, they were urgently called to the hospital where the victim, Eric Shearer, was rushed by members of the initiate's family, but on arrival, he was found to have succumbed from the injuries.
Wakati alitolewa guo, tuliona alikuwa amedungwa kisu kono wa kushoto kwa roho. Na inaonekana hiyo vita ilikuwa kubwa kwa sababu sio hapo peke yake, hata mwili ingine alikuwa na damu kidogo hivi.
They are now calling on the family, where Eric had gone to assist in taking care of the initiate as his mentor, to join them in seeking justice for Shearer.
Sisi kama familia tunataka justice prevail. Tuambiwe ni nani alimdunga na kwa nini alimdunga. Hata familia ya huyo kijana pahali alikuwa ameenda hawakujitokeza kuja kutuambia. Pengine alidungwa hiyo kitu na pengine hakuwa amekufa, tungemshughulikia.
Na hiyo family kama wangejitokeza tujue ni nani, tujue vile tutasaidiana na hawa ule mwenye kufanya hiyo kitendo ashikwe. Hata kama ni wa familia, hata kama ni mtu wa rafiki wa kukuja hapo kutembelea.
Kitui elders condemned the act and urged parents to engage with elders once their sons reach the age of transition from boyhood to manhood, so that cases of harassment during the initiation period are eradicated.
FIFO na kupiga vijana kuwapatia bagi zilikuwako, lakini wakati ule wazee walichukua hii jukumu ya kutahiri wa vijana, hizo visa zimeisha. Ni chache tu sasa, lakini zitaisha.
The elders at the same time encourage parents to embrace the ongoing programs where elders bring together boys and girls for counseling and mentorship. Administration officials have given a stern warning to teens who are harassing those who have already undergone the initiation process.
Hiyo mambo ikisuluhishwa kinyumbani itapatia nafasi ya hiyo mambo kuendelea. Lakini watu wakiona sheria inachukuliwa kulingana na katiba na watu wafikishwa kotini, hiyo I'm sure itaisha. Lakini ikisuluhishwa kinyumbani itakuwa bado tutakuwa tu na suluhu ambayo si ya kudumu.
Collins Shadrack for Lunchtime News.
Well, that report brings us to our first break here on Lunchtime News. Don't go too far, we still have more news coming up.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124.
To get Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 as your skiza tune, dial *811 *967 #.
Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not in your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to Him, and He will make your path straight. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 to 6.
To get Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5, dial *811 *967 #. *811 *967 #.
Intel kwamba mmoja wa vijana wa Burhan is coming away to be smuggled into the country.
How credible is the intel, sir?
Very credible.
Ni nani?
The bomb maker.
HQ iko na reason ya kubilivia kwamba one of Burhan's lieutenants was smuggled into a country through his border crossing.
Wazi.
Welcome back. Now let's continue. A young lady rescued from female genital mutilation at the age of 6 is celebrating her success after completing her degree education. Esther Naini, who undertook a degree in community development in psychology, has vowed to help her community fight FGM and give young girls a voice.
Jubilation and celebrations filled the air in the village of Ngoswani, Narok West, after a young woman's 13-year dream to complete her education finally came to fruition. Esther Naini, who was rescued from the jaws of FGM at the age of 6 years, fought against all odds to change her path in life. Naini, a sponsored student, graduated from Daystar University with a community development in psychology degree. She expressed her happiness having pursued education, noting that she intends to be the voice of the girls who may be facing the threat of FGM. She further encouraged parents to allow their daughters to pursue their education.
I hope I can be a voice for them, and I hope that they can look at me and believe in their dreams and what they want to achieve in their future. I would like to encourage the parents to see the beautiful fruits of educating your child and the power of giving your child the power to make a decision for themselves.
Enkiteng Leper Rescue Center Director Helen Kuraya could not hide her joy, saying that Naini has set the pace for other Maasai girls. Nkuraya urged parents to support campaigns to stop female genital mutilation, which she noted is often on the rise during the holidays.
I've been able to understand that there's a lot in women that needs to be put out. Women need to be empowered, and it starts from within, and we need to get support from our families, support from everyone surrounding us, and including the government.
Ndelee kusomesha wasichana waache kuwa badilisha na ng'ombe. Wakati huu tuko na likizo kubwa ya Disemba, ninaomba wazazi waache kuwakeketa wasichana juu mimi najua sana sana wanateka advantage ya likizo kubwa kama hii ya Disemba.
The young graduate is hopeful that the community will embrace education to empower the pastoralist girls. For Lunchtime News, I am Teresa Mutai.
Police in Kiambu County have busted a syndicate in which drugs are coated in biscuits and then later sold to students. In a sting operation led by the County Police Commander Mushangi Kitui, 12 suspects have since been arrested after a week-long crackdown that netted, among others, a large consignment of bang, illicit brews and weapons used by criminals targeting mostly university students.
Speaking to the members of the press in Juja Sub-County, Koi confirmed they had impounded hundreds of liters of illegal alcoholic drinks, including changa and bang, coated in biscuits that were being sold mainly to students at the nearby Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, JKUAT. Among other confiscated items are alcoholic beverages labeled People's Vodka, counterfeit Kenya Revenue Authority stickers, bottle tops, stolen mobile phones, and an illegal firearm.
I want to give a warning. We have a lot of these fake beers. As you can see, we have the cake, we have Tusker, we have Pilsner. When members of public are buying, especially these autumn drinks for the Christmas, let them check whether they are the real, is the actual beer or is the fake beer. Because they are out within the villages there, people want to make quick money.
Koi, who was accompanied by Juja Sub-County Police Commander Phyllis Mudhoni, said that the crackdown on illicit alcoholic drinks and drugs had been intensified during the festive season.
I'm giving a very stern warning to anybody who want to come and conduct such kind of business within this area. We are not going to allow that one at all.
Over the last 3 months, the police in the area have raided at least 5 illegal liquor distilleries and impounded manufacturing equipment.
Meanwhile, Bungoma Catholic Bishop Mark Kadima has urged Christians to be good ambassadors by supporting needy families during this festive season. He noted that Christmas is a time to show love to the less fortunate.
Speaking during a mass wedding of more than 20 couples, the bishop noted that Christmas is the time for families to maintain love.
Awe mke wako tena waahidi kuwa mwaminifu kwake,
and ensure they give to the needy for a unified celebration.
It is a time to make other people happy. You are generous to each other. Anytime you do something good for somebody, you sacrifice. Those sacrifices bring joy, bring happiness.
Good boy. Good.
Still on helping the less fortunate, Busia County Area Member of Parliament Teso North Oku Kaunya has donated wheelchairs to children living with disabilities at Malaba Special School. He said the move was a way of remembering children with disabilities during this festive season.
Tumewatilia maanani kuwezesha watoto wetu ambao wanalemaa kwa njia moja au nyingine. Wote ambao hawajapata watapata mwishowe. Tutaleta kidogo kidogo, lakini kila mmoja atapata.
Pauline Nasimiu for Lunchtime News.
Kisii Governor Simba Arati has condemned the attack of baby Junior Sagini, terming it appalling. The 3-year-old had his eyes gouged out by unknown people in Ikuruma, Marani. Arati has called on police to ensure the perpetrators are held accountable. When he visited Sagini, the governor revealed that he will offset Sagini's medical bill. Arati also said plans were underway to allocate funds for the construction of a rescue center for victims of such brutality.
As a government, I've personally decided that I'll settle the bill with the hospital here where the baby was brought in. And at any given time that we found the other side of rehabilitation center is accommodative, therefore Daktari will release the baby to the facility. I want to assure you that we are going, as a government, we are going to put some money into making sure there is a proper facility to deal with such kind of incidents. More important, I want to ask that let us be our brother's keeper.
And now on environmental matters, the Kakamega forest is Kenya's only surviving tropical rainforest. It's under intense pressure from local communities who depend on its resources for their livelihoods. And in an effort to conserve the Kakamega forest biodiversity, Women in Water and Natural Resources Conservation, a non-profit organization in Western Kenya, has embarked on agroforestry, the concept of growing beneficial trees and food crops.
At Ivakale, a tiny village on the fringes of the Kakamega forest, Marita Shilashi has converted her 3-acre piece of land into an orchard that teems with avocados, oranges, mangoes, passion fruits and pawpaws.
Majina yangu naitwa Marita Shilashi, mwenye kikundi ya Limuru Farmers Conservation Group. Dawa za kienyeji. Napanda dawa ya osma ya kienyeji ambayo inatumika kutumia kama uko na homa na kama unaumwa na kichwa na magonjwa mengine.
Shilashi also grows medicinal and culinary herbs, maize, beans, napier grass, indigenous leafy vegetables, and other crops. In her backyard within the homestead, the 47-year-old mother of 4 maintains a tree nursery featuring more than 2,000 seedlings of assorted species.
Tosha ya kupanda ikiwa kama futi ngapi?
This is a farming technique that Women in Water and Natural Resources Conservation, a non-profit organization in Western Kenya, has been promoting here for the last 3 years.
Let the women be trained, like the moment they were trained on what climate change is, the impact of climate change, mitigation and adaptation. They have picked it up and they are running with it. They are setting up GCOs to control the amount of greenhouse gases that are going into the air. Most of them now have tanks. They collect rainwater harvesting, rainwater, so that they can use that water in their families on the farms.
WWANC that supports grassroots women, youth and men in Kenya to embrace socio-economic transformation through community conservations and participation has been partnering in the venture with the Kenya Forest Service, the International Tree Foundation, and Kenya Forest Research Institute. Shilashi is among more than 300 women who have organized themselves into 16 groups and adopted agroforestry.
Sasa hii nafanya kazi ya kusupply miti kwa village, na supply miti wakipanda kwa riverbank, na supply miti hata kwa forest kama wanahitaji, na uzia forest wanapanda. Na hii mradi ni mzuri sana, imenifaidisha mimi kama mama.
The Kakamega forest covers 14,810 hectares, comprising 1,610 hectares of exotic plantations and 13,200 hectares of natural forest with indigenous trees. Conservation interventions by WWANC are also being extended to communities bordering Bunyala, Lugari and Malava forests.
We have reforested over 16,000 hectares, and we are in the process of maybe upscaling the activities, but what we are lacking is the funding. Sensitizing the community on the importance of forest restoration is very key, because they need to own the forest.
Now let's talk business. The government is set to unveil a multi-agency team that will be tasked with reviewing laws that govern the construction industry to help improve quality assurance and get rid of those fueling cases of collapsing buildings. Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development Cabinet Secretary Zechariah Njeru says this is in response to a series of buildings collapsing which have raised questions on the quality of contractors.
Several buildings have collapsed in recent weeks, with the latest being in Nairobi and Kiambu counties, putting into question the quality of contractors in the construction industry. To address these, Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development Cabinet Secretary Zechariah Njeru says there is need to review the laws that govern the construction industry that has given a leeway to some to flout the laid-down regulations. Njeru has pledged to constitute a multi-agency team to look into ways of improving quality assurance in the construction industry, with the aim of reducing cases of collapsing buildings.
One of the key proposed amendments is the inclusion of a list of offences in the Act, including contractors undertaking projects not registered by authority, failure of contractors to abide by the code of conduct, and masquerading as officers of the authority. The review of the fact is subject to the approval of Cabinet, after which the amendments will be published by the Office of the Attorney General.
Plans are also underway to set up a construction information system which will integrate various functions within the construction industry.
One of the key things we want to achieve
is presence in 47 counties. We have put forward a revised policy, HR policy, and we look forward to its implementation so that we are more than a Huduma center of 2 staff in every county. We are fully-fledged branch of NCA in every county.
They were speaking in Nairobi during the National Construction Authority's 10th anniversary gala, where officials announced plans to put up offices in all counties. Frederick Muki for Lunchtime News.
KCB Group plans to leverage its insurance subsidiary AfriSci to diversify its offerings in the Democratic Republic of Congo and support cross-border trade in its regional expansion strategy. The group's Chief Finance Officer Lawrence Kimathi says the transaction will positively contribute towards the firm's increased scale of operations by establishing its presence in new markets and provide income diversification from a geographical perspective.
We are now able to do trade, support trade, as a regulator said, the infrastructure of supporting trade from Indian Ocean to the Atlantic Ocean, is supported by the financial services of, the banking and financial services sector. So that's why we look at DRC. I think it's an important market that will be able to unlock not just economic transformation for Kenya, but also for East Africa, for our DRC brothers. We are not going to change the brand of TMB. We will work in DRC with TMB as a brand. It's not going to be KCB in DRC. So that's a lesson that we've learned in Rwanda. It is working very well for us. When we got in there and decided we're going to keep the brand of BPR.
Mombasa Governor Abdul Samad Nasir says the devolved unit is putting in place an enabling business environment for investors to thrive. Speaking during the 9th edition of the Mombasa Business Awards, Nasir said plans are on to collapse all licenses for businesses into ease of the cost of doing business in Mombasa. Now, officials from the Kenya National Chambers of Commerce and Industry Mombasa chapter said there is need for a pro-business environment with friendly policies and feedback channels to attract investors.
This particular finance bill has concentrated on SMEs and MMEs. We have divided Mombasa into various zones with economic strength. You have to understand that a place like Mombasa, you cannot expect the economic index of a place like Utange or Mwakirunge to be the same as the CBD. So the SMEs and MMEs have been concentrated. Not only are they less than what they were last time, but also in other areas even lower than how it was. And of course the issue of putting everything in one permit, that means the fire, the signage and the SBP all in one.
Those engaged in agro-processing are harnessing partnerships to improve their business skills, network and maximize on the value of their products. The farmers are now calling on suppliers and retailers to embrace products by startups.
The sizzling progress of agro-processing and value addition. A process that needs time and accuracy. In Kenya, the agricultural sector is mainly focused on primary processing and does not use local input sufficiently. This means that Kenya may be losing money and not creating enough opportunities for earnings to trickle down to local producers.
To pass knowledge, which is very critical in growing the community around. Because if people are knowledgeable about rabbit meat and they can get also knowledge of how they can breed them, or of how they can turn that into a business, then it adds revenue and income back to our families.
Meet Justin Magiri, the director of Milimag, says the business has been powered by networking.
We are trying to
push forward. Even that's why we are here now, trying to create awareness that this is good meat, this is white meat, the nutritional aspect that comes with it, even for the elderly people.
I'm glad to have met my brothers from Kenya who are into this business of rabbit farming, and it has been a very great opportunity for me to meet them. We are already in business.
From a whole rabbit to rabbit slippers to rabbit smokies and fried rabbit meat, Magiri says the entire value of the rabbit has been maximized. However, pointing out that there's still a whole ecosystem needing support.
We even try to make the product or create a variety of products from the meat so that we can give people an opportunity of testing different variety of meat, like what happens with other meats. That's why we are able to do samosas, able to do sausages. Yeah, we recently opened up an eatery.
Currently, Kenya's share of processed agricultural goods vis-a-vis primary value produce stands at 56 billion shillings against 208 billion shillings, while processed food is 21%.
This is the product of a rabbit meat value addition. Alanako, Kololo Grounds, Kampala, Uganda.
Well, we now cross over to Delta House, where the Council of Governors is holding a press briefing on matters regarding the county revenue allocation recommendation on revenue sharing between national and county governments for the financial year 2023-2024 equalization fund for counties. Let's listen in.
47 counties for December 2022 allocations. We urge the National Treasury to disburse the funds owed to counties without further delay. Last but not least, item number 5, amendments to the energy laws. We note with concern the recent amendments to the Statute Miscellaneous Amendments Bill 2022 that purports to amend sections 12(1)(e) and section 45(f) of the Energy Act 2019 to remove the representation of county governments to the Rural Electrification and Renewable Energy Cooperation (REREC) and the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority (EPRA). The Council objects the proposals as the same negate the spirit of Article 189 of the Constitution and the 4th Schedule of the Constitution. We appeal to Parliament to reject the amendments as they are substantive in nature and will claw back on devolution. The enactment of the legislation was after a rigorous process that involved county participation, which secured their representation to these respective boards. We also implore the Cabinet Secretary, Energy, to rescind his recommendations and ensure adherence to the law. The Council categorically notes that failure to take into consideration the proposals by the Council of Governors shall have no option. We'll have no option as a council but to seek legal redress on the matter. Signed on behalf of the Council of Governors. Thank you very much. I will at this point open it up to my colleagues to further emphasize a few of the issues that I've raised in this statement. All right. They have suggested that instead
And now in the sports arena, with the 2023 World Rally Championship calendar